Shalom. First, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Let's get into it with the war. What's going on with the U.S. and Iran? Because that's one of the biggest part of prophecy, man. And we're seeing it unfold right before our very eyes. It's happening as we speak. So you got U.S. troops being mobilized and being deployed over to the Middle East, where eventually the Battle of Armageddon is going to take place. It's going to go down in a land barren and desolate in the Levant, over in Saudi Arabia, man. And these troops are gearing up. These U.S. troops are gearing up to go fight in this war that they're going to eventually lose. But let's get into it. Here's a news article from the New York Times. It says around 2,000 U.S. paratroopers to be sent to the Middle East. It says the Pentagon has ordered about 2,000 soldiers from the Army's 82nd Airborne Division to begin moving to the Middle East to give President Trump additional military options, even as he weighs a new diplomatic initiative with Iran. Two Defense Department officials said on Tuesday the combat forces would come from the division's immediate response force, a brigade of about 3,000 soldiers capable of deploying anywhere in the world within 18 hours. The contingent includes Major General Brandon R. Tegmeyer, the division commander, and dozens of his staff members, as well as 2 battalions, each with about 800 soldiers, said the officials, who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss operational matters. More of the brigade's soldiers could be sent in the coming days, the official said. Taken together with some 4,500 Marines already en route to the region, the deployment of elite Army forces brings the total number of additional ground troops dispatched to the war zone since the conflict started to nearly 7,000 and marks a new escalation in the conflict. About 50,000 troops are assigned to the overall operation the Pentagon calls Epic Fury from across the Middle East, Europe, and the United States. It's unclear whether Army paratroopers will go in the Middle East, but the location will be within striking distance of Iran, the official said. For instance, the paratroopers could be used to seize Karg Island, or Iran's main oil export hub in the northern Persian Gulf, where the U.S. warplanes bombed more than 90 military targets earlier this month. About 2,300 Marines from the 31st Expeditionary Unit are scheduled to arrive in the Middle East later this week, and U.S. commanders could also use them to seize Karg Island or to help clear the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has effectively closed the strategic waterway to most commercial traffic. A similar number of Marines from the 11th Expeditionary Unit left Southern California last week and are expected to arrive in the region by mid-April, Pentagon officials said. So there's a big buildup to try to take this Karg Island, because you have the small hats, the so-called Jays, and, America has some interest in it. They just really want the resources. So they're going in talking about, we want to, regime change in Iran, which they do, because they want the land and the resources. So they're gathering all these troops together in order to send them off over there. And people are saying, other retired military people are saying this is going to be a bloodbath. But Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he don't care, man. Scripture says he covered fields and take them by violence. So he's trying to take Karg Island by violence, like how he took over Venezuela recently. Esau Edom, he's never gonna change, man. So you can try to pray for him, you can try to rehabilitate him. You can't. He can never change, man. He was created to be the wicked. He's gonna be the wicked. So but like I said, man, you can see from the video, well, not from the video, but from the news article, that this war is a go. It's starting to turn hot. It's eventually going to turn to a ground invasion with troops on the ground, boots on the ground, and it's going to be a damn shootout, man. And we're going to see, these energy prices skyrocket, man. Inflation, oil go through the roof. It's just a matter of time. So let's get some precepts. Let's go to Nahum 3:13. Because you troops, all you tough guys, we're going to find out how tough you are when y'all asses get drafted into this World War III. You like to sit back and talk shit, thinking you tough. But little do you know that the Army has raised the age to serve the Army up to 42 years old. All you tough guys thinking you MMA, and working out in the gym, flexing your muscles, or you just think you some badass in the street. We're going to see how bad you are when that draft notice come, man. When you've been issued, a summons pretty much by the United States government telling your ass you got to pack up and ship out because you got to go fight for your country. But let's get this Nahum 3:13. It says, behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. Yeah, the men in Babylon, America, are going to be like women. When your ass getting shot and hit with them mortar rounds over in the Middle East, in the Levant, in the Valley of Decision, you're going to turn into bitches, man. All that tough guy shit's going to go out the window once you get hit with some hot ones, man. And you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, we know you gonna bitch up. Because the first thing you niggas like to do is call mama. Like that nigga, George Floyd, man. Wicked ass George Floyd. So you're gonna turn the absolute women out there on that battlefield. And just remember this, when you get hit, or if you don't get shot and you're over there in the Levant, you're not coming back to the U.S., man. There's going to be nothing to come back to. Number one, you're going to be killed over there in that desert. And two, America's going to be nuked. There's going to be no home to come back to, no block, no El Barrio for you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, or reservations for you so-called Native Americans, man. There's going to be nothing to come back to. So you're going to be slated for death in that desert. And y'all niggas, you 2/3 of the nation of Israel, you're going to see Yahweh Shah come back on that so-called UFO with the host of heaven, the band of angels, cracking those skies, getting busy on you, man. You're going to have the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, declaring war on you, and you're going to be afraid to fight him. This go for the heathens too, man. All our enemies, all of the nation of Israel enemies, all of y'all that's going to be assembled over there into that Middle East to fight this World War III, all of y'all are going to have to take on Yahweh Shah, and he's going to make you fight, man. The Most High is going to put the spirit on you to make y'all fight his son, Yahweh Shah. And you're going to lose, man. You're gonna lose. I don't care how many space lasers you got, how many satellites, how many jet fighters and A-10s and Apaches, that shit ain't gonna matter. You're gonna see the spiritual world meet the physical world. And Yahweh Shah is coming back in a angelic like power, man. The scriptures say, hey, he shall not meet you as a man. He's not coming as a man this time, where he was able to be bruised, punched, kicked, spit on. It's not happening this time. He's gonna be invincible, man. You know? He's gonna be undefeated, man. He's gonna have the ultimate cheat code. And he's coming to put a foot in Esau Edom, the so-called white man's ass, and take the crowns of all these heathens, man. And Esau's crown. You know? He's coming to conquer, man. You know, he's not coming to negotiate, and he's not gonna give Esau Edom 5-10 days for a peace treaty. You know? When he comes back, that's it, man. Wickedness is gonna be done away. Esau Edom, the so-called white man's gonna fall. All these militaries all over the world is gonna fall. And you're gonna have to get up under Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah banner, man. Which is gonna be the scriptures, which is gonna be the law of the land, the law, statutes, and commandments, and the 144,000 that's coming out of the elect is gonna be the enforcers, man. You know, Lord willing, I'm at that number. Gonna put you motherfuckers in chains. We're gonna have the law. And for Jakes who's still living all over the world, except for America, you know, because Jake living in America, all y'all gonna die to 2/3. But for the ones who don't get delivered and get beamed up into the so-called UFOs, and you're in like parts of South America, Africa, Europe, and things of that sort, you're gonna be given a choice, man. Either you're going to get down with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, or you're going to lay down. And that's what's going to be what it is, man. You know? So, hey, man, this war is gearing up to go hot. And it won't be long for ground troops have entered into this Karg Island. And won't be long for Yahweh Shah comes back either, man. You know, so, hey, these are some beautiful times. You know, keep watching and praying, you know, because, hey, it won't be long before them draft notices come out either, man. You know, so, hey, if you want to, you can go to the New York Times and try to find that article, you know, put it in the search engine, Google or something, and you can just see some of the troops that are being mobilized. You know, and it won't be long until it comes to a mailbox near you, man. You know, but hey, man, I pray this video was edifying to the elect. Shalom, man. We almost out of here. Before I get out of here, I'm going to close it out with it. I'm going to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kwadash. Shalom.